I'm just really not a fan of artillery. Other people probably like it more than me, so I am simply biased, but I feel that I am definitely correct in saying that do not go crazy with the artillery. I don't know what this guy was thinking about, but he drove his slugger directly up to the turtle, fired at the front, and didn't even move. Dude, you can't fight a turtle head-on, says xccam, and he is correct about that. The turtle is a tank I had never heard of before Men of War, and have not heard of after Men of War. But apparently the British had it, and apparently it has more armor than God on the front. And it's very odd-looking, and pretty much your only hope is to shoot its tread, which is not too difficult, and then sneak behind it, which is not too difficult, and then lay dynamite, which is not too difficult if you have dynamite. And then the turtle explodes, and that's pretty fun. You can also drive behind it as long as you take out the tread first, or it's actually so slow that you can drive behind it without taking out the tread. Ooh, flamethrower, that's the end of the scout, who still crawls around for a bit because, you know, he knows his duty. But really, yeah, best way to take out a turtle, the best way to take out a turtle, as in real life, is to disable one of its treads, then go in with the dynamite. That might not be how they really do it in real life for normal turtles, or even for tank turtles, but that's what I've found to work. Have you ever eaten turtle? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever eaten turtle. I got a Chinese friend who's always going on about, like, turtles, and he's like, oh, I have plenty of pet turtles, and then you, like, eat them when you're done. They're perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, dude. But now that I think about it, I've never eaten turtles. Turtles are cool looking, though. You're like, oh, I'm a turtle. They got shells. How awesome is that? Natural armor. I wish I had a shell. Actually, I have to think about this more before I decide if I want a shell. It would make it hard to, like, sit down. I guess it depends on the specifics of the shell. Looks like he just lost a lot of people to a Bren. They've got a machine gunner overlooking that middle point, which is a good idea. The Bren is killing all of his people. And the Bren is the British machine gun that they get to use. I guess they also had, back in World War II, I'm sure they still use Vickers machine gun, but the Bren is certainly the machine gun, the light machine gun that the squads use. And when you buy a machine gunner as the British, you actually get 2 machine gunners. It's the game's way of apologizing for giving the Germans the MG42. When you buy machine gunners as British, you get 2. So you do the best you can with them. Certainly spread them out immediately once you buy them, and stick your Brens in bushes or behind something, and go at it. With machine gunners, I often position them behind something more sturdy than a bush. With riflemen or submachine gunners, it's okay to just stick them in a bush and hope for the best. But a machine gunner, you figure you don't want to be moving him all the time, because well, look at that M18 Hellcat. Those things, for some reason, come camouflaged with bushes on them. But yeah, it drove through a building, lost a man because of that, and is trying to take out the turtle. It might have gotten its tread right there, we'll never know. He's certainly trying to figure out if it got the tread. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. That just bounced off, like that, ricochet. But his Hellcat drove straight through enemy lines, and it got what was coming to it. Someone hit it with a AT grenade, and then now it's on fire, and now it's exploded. So, yeah, that's what you get if you drive straight through enemy lines. That, my friends, is what you get. Turtles. What else was I talking about? Oh yeah, spreading out machine gunners. Or no, where to put machine gunners. I often put them behind like a wall, or sandbags. You can build sandbags with riflemen, or at least some like logs or something. Put them behind something heavier than a bush. Because the thing is, they're going to be opening up with their machine guns and cutting down a lot of infantry, but half the time you'll cut down the entire infantry squad immediately, but the other half the time your opponent's was smart, or the opponent's got lucky or whatever, and you don't mow down all the infantry, and they turn their fire back at you. And if you're in a bush, you're just going to die, even if you're prone, because 1 volley or 2 volleys of rifles will often take out the machine gunner. It's like a 50-50 chance. So just be safe and put your machine gunner behind some actual cover, even behind a building, so you can lean around the corner. That just makes him much more effective. It also means you don't have to worry about moving him every time he's discovered. If your submachine gunners or something are discovered in a bush, often you don't move them just because you don't care about them. But really, if you do care about them, then you want to reposition them immediately. And if anyone is ever discovered, that means you reposition them. Just because your opponent can't see them doesn't mean he won't remember they're there and shell it when he gets the chance. So once anyone is discovered, you move them. And the machine gunner, you don't want to have to be moving all the time, because you never know when an assault's coming. So if he's behind a wall or something, you can just move him slightly left or right behind the wall, and you don't have to worry if they know where he is, because there's a wall blocking him. Looks like someone just bought a howitzer for the American team, so we'll see how well that works out. A-dum-de-dum-de-dum. And Americans having some trouble pushing forward, although they still have the majority of points, having held the majority of the points for the majority of the game. Something like that. We have a scout. What's his name? Select the scout again. Well, he set his scout to hold fire in any case. That's a good idea with anyone you're using to infiltrate, because if you look away from your person who's infiltrating for just 1 second, you haven't set him to hold fire, he might choose that point in the game to do some incredibly amazing, brilliant strategy that he's worked out, which basically amounts to shoot the nearest person he can see, which of course blows his cover. In this case we have a rifleman crawling forward for reasons unascertainable. All he does is draw attention to himself getting the scout killed. The scout's name is Martin Gray. Look, the scout's alive! The scout can sprint like a mofo. He just runs like crazy. I don't know how he does it, but that's the scout's thing. He can also see very far. He's like the scout in Team Fortress 2, only not insufferably annoying with a Boston accent. Looks like that Sherman just got owned by a firefly. That's the thing, your stuff can die. Your tanks don't have health bars, all it takes is one good shell. I really hate USA. They have terrible infantry. That's probably terrible infantry, but the F's and the T's look the same. And their tanks have no armor. Yes, well, how do you feel about that? Bad? Well, you aren't American, so you don't know how it feels. I happen to know that xccam is British, I think. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure. So, second, we actually fought with those guys back in World War II, and in fact we won. Although, really, World War II, I guess, was won when Hitler decided to go crazy with the Soviets, but that doesn't change at all how awesome America is. Let's all have a moment of silence for how awesome America is while we watch them try to take the middle point under the cover of a smoke grenade. And if you listen to my Company of Heroes Shoutcast at all, you'll know that when I say a moment of silence, I really mean a moment of me talking. That's what these things often turn into, moments of me talking over and over again. Looks like we have a, what is that, a T, did he buy a T-26? Is he serious? I can't tell from the silhouette on the left just because I never buy those things. I want him to hover over it and tell me if he really honestly did that. And then they're talking about stuff. You can read that on the bottom if you're able. No, they're good. That's a Pershing. Okay. Pershings are okay. T-26 is the American heavy tank, which is just ridiculous. I don't even want to think about those. And we have all these discarded Bren carriers behind the lines, or they're universal carriers, actually. I call them Bren carriers because that's what they are in Company Heroes, but in real life they're just these little weird tracked vehicle things that they use to tow stuff around. It could apparently tow, was it like 2 tons or something? I don't know, it could carry a whole lot of crap on its back, and it certainly carries a lot of people, and in fact the Russians use some of them thanks to the Lend-Lease was probably what it was. And if you play Red Orchestra at all, you have probably ridden around them, and even fired a machine gun out of it. That is a Centurion tank, which I am not incredibly familiar with, but so we're gonna ignore it because we don't have to do anything really.